Alright guys, what is up? You are back for another video with DataZero. This is your daily outlook prediction for stocks and crypto. This video is not financial advice, should not be taken as such. Please do your own research and due diligence for buying any stock or crypto asset. With that being said, let's hop into charts, facts, data showing you what is going on for today. So this video is going to be short, sweet, and to the point, ladies and gentlemen. We have to deal with Max Payne tomorrow. That's going to be a concern. Also, 5.7 million short shares here for GME. And you guys can see right here, 4.6 million short shares here for AMC. Now, of course, we have to deal with Max Payne as well. So we're going to be looking at Max Payne. And of course, they're going to be trying to keep GME away from $25, because if we can break and hold $25, not only is it a decent support and resistance level, which next will go to the gap fill, but also there's a lot of calls in the money then, and as Friday is an expiration, that could send up a gamma ramp if they have to start hedging for those calls. So they're going to try to keep us away from $25. Now you guys can see right here, Max Payne is actually $23 because we moved up so much. So the market makers are going to be absolutely desperate to try to push us down. But it looks like GME is flipping bullish. You guys can see the MACD here on the 2-hour time frame is getting green, trying to flip green. You can see on the hourly time frame is green. You guys can see that we had a nice recovery today. After we had this big push up, we found a bottom, got a nice bounce, and now we're pushing up. And there's a huge chance that we could break and hold $25 and get a decent pop to the upside. Now, in order for that to happen, we need to be able to break 24.77, which we are above right now, and we need to stay above this level. If we confirm this level as support, which I think we'll do that in the morning, we're going to push up towards $25. And of course, if we hold $25, you are going to see a nasty move to the upside. So ladies and gentlemen, there is a chance for GME to have a very bullish Friday. And I'm thinking we're actually about to see a pump, possibly starting as early as tomorrow and of course into next week. I'm going to be breaking it down in the weekly outlook prediction, but I think GME's in a great position to see some nasty move to the upside, especially because all these things we're seeing with the warrants, all the mechanics behind that, also the bullishness from the double beat. I think they're going to continue to do well on earnings, and this is looking really, really good. Both AMC and GME are both destroying in earnings right now. They're showing that the short thesis is dead. They're showing that they can be profitable and do good numbers. So this is looking very, very good, especially for GME, especially having Bitcoin on the balance sheet. Now, again, key level we need to break and hold is $25. If we hold that, you're going to see a nice pop to the upside, but we need to make sure we stay above 24.77, which we are doing as of right now, but they're going to try to knock us down. Ladies and gentlemen, remember, they do here at time of recording have 5.7 million short shares for GME and 4.6 million for AMC. Now, AMC, we want to see break and hold 280. You guys can see we actually got this 280 close here today. And if we can stay above this level, this is confirmation that AMC is indeed bottoming. I told you guys we would get that inverse head and shoulders. We got that inverse head and shoulders, and that gave us a nice pop to the upside. We did get a pretty bullish push all the way up to 287 today, but we got knocked down here in the end of the day. I think if GME starts to run up, AMC is definitely going to start running up, and I know AMC is kind of lagging right now behind, but I believe once GME starts to move, you're really going to see AMC start to move. What's good for AMC is good for GME, and what's good for AMC is good for GME, so vice versa. But ladies and gentlemen, I do believe that they're both on the same algo. I believe the same people trade them, the same people are short them. So this is why we are going to see AMC start to move up, especially if GME can get above this $25 range, which I'm thinking is coming here as potentially early as tomorrow. They're going to fight tooth and nail, so be ready for volatility. And things are going to get crazier for the meme stocks for sure, so be ready for anything. But ladies and gentlemen, I'm telling you right now, from what I'm seeing, it looks like GameStop is going to start running up and potentially keep running up. I don't want to get people too excited, but it looks like we're actually about to see a rally, a decent rally here for GME, and that's also going to help AMC. It looks like AMC is bottoming. When in doubt, zoom out. AMC actually looks really good here on the macro. It looks like we're probably going to start moving up on both AMC and GME. AMC is ultimately going to get back to $3. We have this gap filled to the upside here at right underneath $3, and GME is ultimately going to move back towards $30. Now we could go much higher than that, obviously, but my price targets here on the short term is $30 for GME and $3 for AMC, and I think we're going to be seeing that here very, very soon, maybe even as early as next week, but I'll break all that down and what we need to see in the weekly outlook and prediction, and especially if tomorrow is good. If tomorrow is good, that is going to set us on course for a potential bullish week next week. So if we do get a green day for the meme stocks, like I'm thinking we could, and Fridays are the most manipulated day, remember, that means potentially bullishness next week as well. Now you can see that AMC's max pain is actually $3. So in AMC's case, it might be a little bit less of a risk for them to try to push it down, but kind of just let it run up a little bit. Obviously, they don't want $3 calls in the money or anything, and they don't want AMC going up, period. But it won't be as bad because they're not going to be trying to push it down towards 250. They'll kind of let it go a little bit and maybe even be incentivized to let it run up a little bit. They're not going to let us run up towards $3, I don't believe. But that way they can try to get a little bit more out of the premium, out of those options. So again, max pain is the price where it puts the most pressure on retail, hurts retail the most, and market makers make the most money off options premium. So this is what we're looking at for AMC and GME. Again, AMC's max pain is $3, so I wouldn't be surprised if we do see a green Friday tomorrow for AMC and actually a green Friday here tomorrow for GME. The only thing I'm worried about is GME is the max pain is low because we did pump up so high, and they're going to desperately want to try to get as many calls out of the money. But as long as we can maintain like 24.77 or even 24.50, you're going to see a push up towards that $25 level sooner than later. And once we break and hold $25, you're going to see a nasty pop to the upside. So that's what I'm looking at for AMC and GME. Let's go ahead and move into SPY in the overall stock market, show you guys what's going on there, and then we will go into cryptocurrency. So as you guys can see, we had a data drop today. We had inflation. We also had jobless claims. Jobless claims are up, and the reason why, even though inflation went up and jobless claims went up, is because people are trying to front run the rate cuts. Now, the thing is, ladies and gentlemen, front running the rate cuts, especially emergency rate cuts, could be a very bad thing. Also, if we look at SPY and NASDAQ on the macro timeframes, you guys can see we're getting very, very frothy here on RSI. RSI getting into that overbought territory, not yet. Anything over 70 is overbought. We're at 69.3 here on the weekly time frame. And if on the monthly time frame, we are overbought here on SPY. Same thing for NASDAQ. We're overbought here on the monthly time frame, and we're getting really frothy here on the weekly time frame as well, 69.41. So how much higher do people think the markets can really go? I think these rate cuts are coming, but the emergency rate cuts could end up actually having an inverse effect on what people are thinking. Now, again, it's going to also solidify the inflation. So I'm telling people this, and this is why crypto is very, very important, because especially things like Bitcoin, inflation's not going away, ladies and gentlemen. If they lower the rates now, especially while inflation's creeping up, it's never going to go away because the rates being lowered are going to increase inflation. So they're basically throwing in the towel. And I told you guys this, that I think they're going to get rid of the 2% target and make 3% their target. I don't think they're going to be trying to go for 2% anymore. And that means your savings, your value is getting eroded even faster. So you need to find ways to amplify your money. And that's why also Bitcoin, because it can't be diluted, it's a great hedge against inflation. It has the fixed cap. It's proof of work. Great hedge against inflation. And that's why I'm so bullish on BTC, which I'll talk about here in the crypto section. But guys, it's basically like the Fed's throwing in the towel on inflation. if they do cut the rates. And I think this, with the jobless claims, the labor market weakening, we've seen the unemployment going up, and everything that we're seeing here, it's an argument that those rate cuts most likely are going to be coming here later in September. So be ready for that. But this is why SPY pushed higher. We do have one more data drop tomorrow. It's Michigan consumer sentiment. So be ready for that. That's going to be happening at 10 a.m. So be ready for that volatility. But what it looks like SPY is most likely going to do is use 657.60 as support, and then probably push up towards 658. Now the question is, will it be able to break 658? If it breaks and holds 658, you could see a decent pop to the upside, but it looks like things are getting kind of frothy here on the RSI, so you want to be careful. But overall, it does look like the indexes are ready to continue higher. The Apple event wasn't really good for Apple, but Apple's kind of seeing a little bit of recovery. You guys can see that it really got knocked down, but it's starting to see a little bit of recovery, and Nvidia is starting to see recovery as well. And if Apple and Nvidia are pushing up, that's going to definitely be good for SPY and NASDAQ, and we probably could see new highs here coming for both of the indexes. So this is what we're looking at for SPY in the overall market. I think we are going to push to the upside, in my personal opinion, towards 5 or 658, and if we can break and hold 658, then you can see a decent pop to the upside. I'll be live tomorrow, so make sure you guys like and subscribe, and that way you can put the bell notification on as well and see what's going on as it does occur, because I do go live all the time. Let's go ahead and look at crypto and the overall crypto market, show you guys what's going on here. Bitcoin getting a decent pop, 115,400. I told you guys, inverse head and shoulders in play. Bitcoin going bullish, ladies and gentlemen, and you love to see it. If Bitcoin's able to break and hold 115,700, there's a huge chance that we're going to see a big recovery in the crypto market. They were spreading fear earlier and trying to shake people out, but ladies and gentlemen, there's nothing to be afraid of. We're seeing so much bullish legislation for crypto coming down the pipeline. Ripple XRP is making absolute moves. Ripple itself, the XRP, the coin itself, is making moves as well, reclaiming $3. Bitcoin is going bullish, and it's going to take altcoins with it. You guys can see Ethereum starting to curl up. I think Ethereum is actually about to go back towards like 4.9, 5,000. I think we're about to see altcoin season. Cardano ADA as well, also pushing up. If Cardano ADA can break and hold 89 cents, you're going to see a push towards like 95 or $1. I think we're going to see $1 very, very soon. Cardano ADA looks like a great trade as well. XLM looks like a pretty good coin as well. We were looking at this on the live stream. XLM looks pretty good for a potential setup and push to the upside. Looks very bullish. XLM also hasn't made a new all-time high, and it's one of the top coins as well, so there's some gains there to be made. I think ETH is going to go for 5K. I think Bitcoin potentially is going to go for that 125K price target. And if we decouple from the fractal and continue to push up at this point, ladies and gentlemen, you're going to see something very, very, very special for crypto. So far, we've been following this fractal the whole time, but it looks like we're actually decoupling, and if we're able to break above 115,700 and hold that level, we're going to push up, and we're going to push up nasty. So be ready. We could be decoupling from the fractal and seeing something truly special for BTC, maybe even a potential super cycle. You guys are seeing it. I don't want to get too hyped because it's a little too early to tell, but guys, you're seeing what I'm seeing right now. BTC rainbow chart still telling us that we're in buy territories, accumulate territories, that there's a lot of room left to the upside compared to these other bull runs we've seen. You guys can see we would get into that yellow territory, that red territory in the previous bull runs. We're still way down here in the buy and accumulate territory here for BTC. So again, very, very, very bullish in my personal opinion, and I think we could easily see a push to the upside, especially if Bitcoin's able to break above like 116,000, 115,700, hold that level of support. But the inverse head and shoulders is playing out. This is where it's supposed to top out a little bit, so we need to see if we're going to break that or not, but this is looking very, very, very good. And then again, I told you guys it looked like we're probably going to recover because key altcoins look like they were going to blast off. XRP breaking above the sloping support and resistance, reclaiming $3. It's sitting at 304 right now at time of recording. It looks like XRP is going to go back for 333. And if it does that, you're going to see a push towards new all-time highs. So it looks like XRP is about to explode, especially if the ETF comes. It looks like ADA is about to explode. XLM, those are some coins that I'm definitely looking at. ETH looks like it's about to make some moves as well, and BTC. So keep your eye on those coins, ladies and gentlemen. Another coin that's been making moves is MYX. Keep that on your radar. But ladies and gentlemen, this is your daily outlook and prediction for stocks and crypto. If you found this video informative, please drop a like. If you watched to the end of the video, I appreciate you greatly because so few people watch the end and it helps me out immensely. And as always, y'all, make sure you have fun, stay safe, make money. Peace out, fam.